Can't believe Alex fell for it again. Easiest ATM withdrawal ever. The text message appeared on my phone at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday in March. It was from my brother Derek in what I thought was a private conversation between us. But then I saw the other names at the top of the screen. Mom, Dad, Derek, Nicole, Uncle Ray. This wasn't a private message. This was the family group chat, the one I'd been removed from 6 months ago, or so I thought. Derek had accidentally added me back while trying to send me a private message asking for money, and in trying to respond to him privately, he'd instead sent this message to everyone, including me. I stared at those words on my phone screen, sitting on my couch in my Capitol Hill apartment at nearly midnight. Easiest ATM withdrawal ever. My hands started shaking. Not from hurt exactly, though there was hurt, but more from the sudden crystallizing clarity of what I was seeing. Like when you've been looking at an optical illusion and suddenly your brain shifts and you see the other image, the real image, and you can't unsee it ever again. I scrolled up in the chat, my stomach dropping with each message I read. The conversation went back hours, maybe days, and every single message was about me, about money I'd sent, about requests they were planning, about how to phrase things so I'd say yes, about how to push my buttons, about how stupid I was for always helping, about how easy it was to manipulate me. My name is Alexandra Chen, though everyone calls me Alex, and I'm 35 years old. I work as a senior software engineer at a tech company in Seattle, making $185,000 a year base salary plus stock options that vest quarterly, plus annual bonuses that typically add another $30,000 to $40,000. I'm single, no kids, live alone in a one-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill that costs $2,400 a month including parking. I drive a 2019 Honda Civic that's paid off. I have a 401k, an emergency fund, and until this moment, I thought I had a family that cared about me. For the past 6 years, since I got my first real tech job making decent money, I've been my family's primary source of financial support. My unofficial role, the one I fell into without ever formally agreeing to it, was family safety net, family emergency fund, family bank. I've sent money to my mother for mortgage payments when she said they were short, to my father for his truck repairs when he said he couldn't afford them, to my brother Derek, who's 32, for his rent, his utilities, his car insurance, his credit card bills, his security deposits, his court fees, his everything, to my sister Nicole, who's 29, for her student loans, her medical bills, her daughter's daycare costs, her groceries, her car payment, to my Uncle Ray, my dad's younger brother who's 50, for his failing business expenses, his divorce attorney, his back taxes, his rent when his business wasn't making money. I've sent money for emergencies and non-emergencies, for genuine crises and for conveniences, for needs and for wants, for things they claimed they couldn't live without, and for things they just didn't feel like paying for themselves. And I've done it all quietly, without complaint, without keeping score, without making anyone feel bad, because they're family, because I thought that's what you do when you're the one who made it, who got a good job, who has financial security. You help, you support, you lift others up. I thought I was being a good daughter, a good sister, a good niece. I thought they appreciated it, even if they didn't say it often. I thought I was building goodwill, strengthening family bonds, being the kind of person who shows up when people need her. But as I scrolled through that group chat, reading message after message after message, I realized something that made my chest feel hollow, and my hands shake, and my vision blur with tears I refused to let fall. They didn't see it as me helping them. They didn't see it as generosity or family support or love. They saw it as them using me. They saw me as a resource to be exploited, a mark to be conned, a sucker who'd never catch on. They saw me as an ATM. Just punch in the right code, use the right words, and money comes out. The messages in the group chat went back 3 days, but I could tell from the casual tone, from the practiced way they talked about manipulating me, that these conversations had been happening for much longer. This wasn't new. This was routine. Monday, March 11th, 9:47 a.m. Derek. Need to hit up Alex for rent again. Due Friday, and I'm $900 short. Nicole. Didn't you just get money from her last month? Derek. Yeah, but that was for my car insurance. This is different. Mom. Just tell her you're going to get evicted. She always falls for the emergency angle. Make it sound desperate. Dad. Make sure you sound really stressed about it. She won't say no if she thinks you're really struggling. Use that voice you do when you want her to feel bad. Uncle Ray. That girl is a gold mine. I got $3,000 out of her in February just by saying my business was going under. I spent it on a fishing boat. She never even asked for proof. Derek. Unbelievable. Nicole. You're terrible. Mom. Ray. You're going to hell. They were all laughing, making jokes about it. Monday, 2:34 p.m. Nicole. I'm going to ask Alex to cover Maya's daycare for next month. Think she'll do it? Mom. Of course she will. Just tell her you can't afford it and you'll have to pull Maya out of the program. Alex is too soft to let her niece suffer. She'll cave immediately, Nicole. But I can afford it. Tom got a raise last month. We're actually doing pretty well right now. Dad. So? Alex doesn't need to know that. She's been paying for half your stuff for 3 years and she's never once asked for proof you needed it. Never asked to see a bill or a bank statement. She just sends money. Why would you stop now? Nicole. True. She's such a sucker. She added a laughing reaction. Mom. Don't call your sister a sucker. It's not nice. Nicole. But she is, though. Mom. I know, but don't say it. She was laughing too. More laughing reactions. More jokes at my expense. I kept scrolling, my heart pounding. My breath coming faster. Tuesday, 6:15 p.m. Just hours before the message that had revealed everything to me. Derek. About to text Alex for 1-200, gonna say my landlord is threatening eviction and I need it by the end of the week or I'm out on the street. Mom, good luck. Let us know if it works. Derek. It'll work. It always works. Tuesday, 11:39 p.m. Derek. Got it. She sent me $1,500. Said I shouldn't have to worry about late fees and sent extra just in case. He added a laughing reaction. Dad. That's my girl. Always willing to subsidize her deadbeat brother. Nicole. Did she seriously send extra without you even asking? Derek. Yep, I said $200 and she sent $500. Uncle Ray. We should call her the family ATM. Just punch in the right code and money comes out. Nicole. Alex the ATM, I'm dead. Multiple laughing reactions. Derek. Can't believe Alex fell for it again. Easiest ATM withdrawal ever. And that's when he'd meant to send it just to the group chat, but had accidentally included me. That's when everything had been exposed. I sat there in my apartment at midnight, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone, staring at years of manipulation spelled out in clear, undeniable text. Every emergency that hadn't been an emergency. Every crisis that had been manufactured. Every guilt trip that had been strategic and coordinated. Every time they'd called me generous or kind or thoughtful or the responsible one, they'd been laughing behind my back about how easy I was to manipulate, how stupid I was for always believing them, how reliable I was as a source of free money. I felt sick. Not dramatic, clutching your stomach kind of sick. Just this deep, pervasive nausea that came from realizing that the people you love most in the world, the people you do anything for, see you as nothing more than a wallet with legs. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call them all right then, at midnight, and scream at them. Ask them how they could do this. Ask them if they ever felt even a moment of guilt. Ask them if I'd ever mattered to them at all, or if I'd always just been a resource to exploit. But I didn't. Instead, I took a screenshot. Then another. Then another. I screenshot every single message in that chat going back as far as I could scroll. Every joke, every strategy session, every laughing emoji, every casual revelation of how little they thought of me. Then I opened my banking app, pulled up my transaction history, Venmo, direct bank transfers. I went back 6 months. Screenshot everything. Then a year. Screenshot everything. Then 2 years. Keep going. Every payment I'd ever sent to any of them. Every request I'd fulfilled. Every emergency I'd solved. Every bill I'd paid. I worked through the night. At some point I made coffee. At some point I realized I was crying, but I didn't stop working. By 4 a.m., I had hundreds of screenshots organized into folders on my phone and backed up to 3 different cloud storage services. Then I opened my laptop and created a spreadsheet. The file name was simple. Family Financial Exploitation, Evidence and Timeline. The column headers were date, recipient, amount, stated reason, actual reason, if different, method of request, emotional manipulation used, promise of repayment, yes, no, actual repayment, yes, no, group chat discussion, yes, no. I worked methodically, going through 6 years of bank statements, 6 years of text messages, 6 years of emails and phone call logs and Venmo notes and everything else I could find. By 6 a.m., I had a comprehensive record. Let me tell you what 6 years of being the family ATM looks like in numbers. Total sent to Derek over 6 years. 40 cents every $300. Broken down, $18,400 for rent. Various apartments. Various months. Sometimes the same month twice when he'd spend the first payment on other things. $6,200 for car insurance. He'd let it lapse 3 times and needed money to reinstate it. $4,100 for utilities. Electric, gas, internet, phone. $3,800 for credit card debt. Minimum payments when he was tight. $2,900 for security deposits. He'd moved 6 times in 6 years. $20,000 for court fees and fines. 1 DUI, 2 speeding tickets, 1 failure to appear. $1,900 for his share of family gifts. Mom's birthday, Dad's birthday, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day. $200 for medical bills. ER visit after a bar fight. $6,700 for miscellaneous. His girlfriend's birthday present. His share of Mom and Dad's anniversary dinner. His car registration. His portion of Uncle Ray's loan that the family had supposedly pooled together for. Total sent to Nicole over 6 years. $38,900 broken down. $14,200 for student loan payments. She'd said she couldn't make them and would default. $9,800 for daycare for her daughter Maya. Monthly payments, supposedly because she couldn't afford it. $4,600 for medical bills. Her share of Maya's pediatrician visits. Her dental work. Her emergency room visit. $300 for groceries, Venmo requests with notes like, out of food, Maya needs to eat. $2,400 for car payment. 6 months of payments when she'd said they couldn't afford it. $800 for her laptop, needed for work, couldn't afford it. $200 for her phone bill, 6 months of payments. $800 for miscellaneous, her share of family gifts, her portion of a family vacation, Maya's birthday parties. Total sent to Mom and Dad over 6 years. $67,200. Broken down, $24,000 for mortgage payments. Monthly payments when they'd said Social Security wasn't covering it. $8,400 for property taxes, 2 years of payments. $7,200 for Dad's truck repairs. Transmission, engine work, new tires, brake job. $6,800 for Mom's car insurance, yearly payments. $4,800 for their heating bill. Winter months, they'd said they couldn't afford to heat the house. $4,000 for their vacation to Mexico. I'd insisted they take it, according to them. But really, Mom had cried about how stressed they were. $3,600 for medical copays and prescriptions. Various doctors, various medications. $3,200 for their new refrigerator. The old one had died and they needed one immediately. $5,200 for miscellaneous. Christmas gifts for the grandkids that they couldn't afford, repairs to the house, their share of Uncle Ray's loan, their anniversary dinner. Total sent to Uncle Ray over 6 years, $24,600 broken down. $8,400 for his business expenses. He'd said his contracting business was struggling and needed money for supplies. $6,200 for his divorce attorney. He'd been going through a messy divorce. $4,800 for his back taxes. He'd gotten behind with the IRS. $3,200 for his rent. 4 months of payments when his business wasn't making money. $2,000 for his truck payment. 3 months of payments. Grand total sent to my family over 6 years. $178,000. $178,000. I stared at that number in my spreadsheet as the sun started to come up outside my apartment window. $178,000. That was a down payment on a house in Seattle, even in this insane market. That was retirement savings that could have been growing in index funds for 6 years. That was financial security. That was freedom. That was my life, my time, my work, converted into cash and handed over to people who saw me as nothing more than an ATM. And the worst part, the part that made me want to throw up, was that I'd done it willingly, happily even. I felt good about helping. I'd felt like I was being a good person. A good family member. Every time I'd sent money, I'd felt this little glow of satisfaction that I was able to help, that I was making a difference, that I was the kind of person who showed up for my family. They'd used my kindness as a weapon against me. They'd used my love for them to manipulate me. They'd turned my best qualities into vulnerabilities to exploit. I kept working on the spreadsheet, adding more columns. Group chat discussion. Did they discuss this request in the chat before asking me? For 73% of requests, yes. Emotional manipulation used. What specific tactics did they use? Guilt, I'd be letting them down. Fear, something terrible would happen if I didn't help. Obligation, family helps family. Flattery, I was so generous, so successful, so capable. Comparison, I had so much and they had so little. Promise of repayment, did they say they'd pay me back? For 64% of requests, yes. Actual repayment, how many times did they actually pay me back? 0, not once, not ever, not a single dollar. I added another sheet to the spreadsheet. This one was called Manipulation Patterns and Tactics. I documented everything. The way Mom would cry on the phone before asking for money. The way Derek would wait until late at night to text, knowing I'd be tired and less likely to ask questions. The way Nicole would send photos of Maya and talk about how hard things were before mentioning she needed help. The way Dad would bring up how much they'd sacrificed to raise me before asking for money. The way Uncle Ray would tell long stories about his struggles before getting to the request. The way they'd all coordinate, taking turns so I wouldn't realize how much I was sending to the family as a whole. The way they'd frame requests as loans even though they never intended to pay me back. The way they'd thank me profusely after I sent money, but never check in on me, or ask how I was doing, unless they needed something. I documented it all. Every pattern, every tactic, every manipulation. By 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, I had a comprehensive case file, over 300 screenshots, a 40-page spreadsheet with multiple sheets analyzing the data from every angle, a timeline of requests, a breakdown of manipulation tactics, documentation of every lie they'd told, proof of what they'd actually spent money on versus what they'd claimed they needed it for, based on their social media posts and things they'd mentioned in family conversations. I saved everything to my laptop, backed it up to 3 different cloud services, emailed it to myself, and copied it to an external hard drive. Then I did something I'd never done before. I went into my banking app and set up alerts. Any transaction over $50, I'd get a notification. I also set up account restrictions. No one could request money from me through Venmo or Zelle without me manually approving it first. I was taking control back, but I wasn't ready to confront them yet. I wanted to watch. I wanted to see what else they'd say. Because the group chat was still active, and they still didn't know I could see it. The messages continued Wednesday morning. I watched them in real time, screenshot each one. 7:23 a.m. Mom. Someone needs to tell Derek to be more careful. He almost exposed everything last night with that ATM message. Dad. What message? Mom. He accidentally sent something to the main chat instead of just to us. Had to delete it fast. Nicole. Oh my God, Derek, you idiot. Derek. Relax. I deleted it in like 30 seconds. Alex was probably asleep anyway. Her phone was probably on silent. Uncle Ray. Even if she saw it, what's she gonna do? Stop helping her family? She'd feel too guilty. Derek. Exactly. She'll never stop. It's not in her nature. She's a helper. It's like her whole identity. Mom. Still, be more careful. We don't want her asking questions. They had no idea I'd screenshot it before Derek deleted it. Had no idea I was now watching every word they typed. Had no idea I was building a case against them. 10:15 a.m. Derek. I'm gonna need to ask Alex for more money next week. My insurance is due again. Mom. Didn't she just send you $1,500 yesterday? Derek. Yeah, but that's gone already. Nicole. Gone? Already? What did you spend it on? Derek. Concert tickets for me and Rachel. Got some new stuff for my apartment. Went out to dinner a few times. You know, living. Nicole. You're such an idiot. You could have actually paid your rent. Derek. I'll pay rent with the next money from Alex. It's fine. She always sends more when I ask. Nicole. What if she says no? Derek. She won't. She never does. I'll just use the eviction angle again. Works every time. Mom. Make sure you wait at least a few days. If you ask too soon after the last request, she might get suspicious. Derek. Good call. I'll wait until Friday. I screenshot it all. Every casual revelation of how they saw me, how they planned to use me, how little guilt they felt. Wednesday afternoon, my phone started ringing. First Mom, then Derek, then Nicole. then Dad. They didn't know I'd seen anything, so this was just their normal check-in pattern. The pattern where they'd call me periodically to maintain the relationship, to keep me engaged, to make sure I still felt connected to the family so I'd keep sending money. I didn't answer any of them. I let them all go to voicemail. Mom's voicemail. Hi, honey, just calling to check in. Haven't heard from you in a few days. Hope work is going well. Love you. Call me back. Nicole's voicemail. Hey, Alex. Maya's been asking about Aunt Alex. Maybe you could come visit this weekend? We could do brunch. Let me know. Love you. Derek's voicemail. No message, just hung up. Dad's voicemail. Alex, it's Dad. Your mother is worried because you haven't called back. Give us a call when you get a chance. Talk soon. They sounded so normal, so loving, like they actually cared. But I'd seen behind the curtain now. I knew what they really thought of me. Wednesday evening, I responded to Mom with a single text. Busy with work. I'm fine. Talk soon. Short, neutral, giving nothing away. I wanted to see how long I could watch them without them realizing I knew. I wanted to collect more evidence. I wanted to see just how deep this went. The group chat continued. 8:47 p.m. Nicole. I think I'm going to ask Alex for money for Maya's summer camp. It's $800. Mom. Good idea. She loves Maya. She'll definitely pay for that. Dad. When are you going to ask? Nicole. Maybe this weekend. I'll have Maya call her first, let them talk. Then I'll get on the phone and mention the camp casually. If Alex offers, great. If not, I'll bring it up more directly later. Mom. Smart. Using Maya is always effective. I felt sick reading that. They were coaching each other on how to use my love for my niece to manipulate me. Maya was 3 years old. She had no idea her mother was using her as a tool to extract money from me. PM Uncle Ray. Anyone know if Alex is good for another loan soon? Need about $2,000 for my truck, Dad. She just sent Derek $500 yesterday. Might want to wait a week or two. Uncle Ray. Fair. I'll wait until early April. What should I say I need it for? Mom. Keep it vague. Just say unexpected expenses came up and you're short until your next client pays. Uncle Ray. Got it. Thanks. They were literally strategizing about how to scam me. Planning their requests, coordinating timing, workshopping excuses, and they felt no shame about it whatsoever. Thursday morning, I went to work like normal, sat in meetings, wrote code, had lunch with my coworker, Sarah. She asked if I was okay, and I said I was fine, just tired. I couldn't tell her what was really happening. Not yet. I needed to process it myself first. Thursday at noon, Derek texted me privately. Hey sis, weird question. But did you get any strange messages from me the other night? Like Tuesday night? My phone was acting glitchy, and I'm not sure what it sent. He was trying to figure out if I'd seen the ATM message. I responded, I don't think so. What kind of strange message? Playing dumb. Oh, nothing. Probably just my phone being weird. Never mind. Okay, no worries. He thought he was safe. Thursday at 3 p.m., Nicole called. I answered this time. Alex, hey, I've been trying to reach you. Sorry, work's been crazy. I know. You work so hard. Listen, Maya's been asking about you. She misses her Aunt Alex. Want to come over this weekend? We could do brunch, let Maya hang out with you. This was the setup Nicole had discussed in the group chat. The one where she'd have Maya call me first to establish emotional connection, then mention the summer camp. I don't think I can this weekend. Pretty swamped. Oh, okay. Well, maybe soon. Maya would love to see you. Maybe. I'll let you know. Is everything okay? You sound off. I'm fine. Just tired. Lots going on at work. Okay, well, if you need anything, I'm here. You know that, right? You're not just the person who helps everyone else. We're here for you, too. The irony of that statement, coming from someone who'd spent years manipulating me for money and laughing about it with the rest of the family, was almost funny. Almost. Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate that. Love you, sis. Love you too. I hung up and immediately checked the group chat. Poor Nicole. Just talked to Alex. Something's weird. She's being distant. Said she's too busy to visit this weekend. Mom. Think she knows something. Nicole. I don't know. She seemed normal but also kinda cold. Derek. She's probably just stressed about work. She gets like that sometimes. She'll be fine. Dad. Keep monitoring. If she keeps being weird, we might need to back off requests for a while. Uncle Ray. Or we go harder. Sometimes when she's stressed, she sends money because it makes her feel like she's helping, and that makes her feel better about herself. Mom. That's actually true. She does that. When she's overwhelmed with work, helping family makes her feel more in control. They'd analyzed my psychology. They'd identified my coping mechanisms. They'd figured out exactly how to exploit my need to feel useful, my desire to be a good person, my tendency to find purpose in helping others. They'd weaponized my kindness. Thursday evening, Dad called. I answered. Hey, Dad. Alex, how are you? Your mother said you seem stressed. I'm okay. Just a lot of projects at work. You work too hard. You need to take care of yourself, not just everyone else. I'm fine, really. Listen, I know we lean on you a lot. Your mother and I, we appreciate everything you do for this family. You know that, right? This was new. He'd never said anything like this before. Were they getting nervous? Sure, Dad. Because you're important to us. Not just because you're successful and can help out financially. You're our daughter. We love you. Okay, is everything all right? You don't sound like yourself. I'm just tired. It's been a long week. All right? Well, get some rest. Love you, kiddo. Love you too. I hung up and checked the group chat immediately. Some 2 p.m., Dad. Just talked to Alex. Definitely something off. She was very short with me. Not rude, just distant. Mom, this is Derek's fault. That stupid message spooked her. Derek. I told you I deleted it. There's no way she saw it. Nicole. Maybe she's just actually busy with work. We might be paranoid. Uncle Ray. Or maybe someone said something to her. Does she have any friends who might tell her she's being used? Mom. I don't think so. She doesn't really talk about her personal life much. She's pretty private. Dad. Let's just back off for a week or two. Give her space. If she doesn't bring anything up, we're probably fine. They were getting nervous. Good. Friday morning, Derek texted, Hey Alex, you doing okay? Everyone says you've been quiet this week. I'm fine. Why is everyone asking me that? Just seems like you're stressed or something. Want to grab dinner this weekend? My treat. His treat. That was hilarious considering he'd never paid for a meal in his life. I'd probably paid for every dinner we'd ever had together through the money I'd sent him. Can't. Busy. Maybe another time. Okay, but seriously, if something's wrong, you can talk to me. I'm your brother. I know. Thanks. Friday afternoon, I did something I'd never done before. I opened my Venmo app and changed my privacy settings, made all my transactions private. Then I went into my phone settings and turned off read receipts for text messages. Then I went through my social media and adjusted my privacy settings, making sure my family couldn't see my posts unless I specifically tagged them. I was creating barriers, taking back control. Small steps, but important ones. Friday evening, the group chat was active again. 7:18 p.m. Derek. Okay, I'm officially worried about Alex. She's being really weird with me too. Mom. Maybe we should just ask her directly if something's wrong. Nicole. And say what? Hey, are you mad that we've been using you as an ATM? And we can't exactly bring it up. Dad. Let's wait until Monday. If she's still being weird, we'll figure out our next move. Uncle Ray. I still need that $2,000, though. My truck payment is due. Mom. Ray, read the room. We need to be careful right now. Uncle Ray. Fine. But if I lose my truck because you all are paranoid, I'm going to be pissed. Saturday morning, Nicole sent me a video. It was Maya, my 3-year-old niece, saying, Hi, Aunt Alex. I miss you. Mommy says maybe you can come play with me soon. My heart broke a little. Maya was innocent in all this. She had no idea her mother was using her to manipulate me. I responded, Hi, Maya. I miss you too. Maybe we can play soon. Then Nicole texted, She really does miss you. You're her favorite aunt. I'm her only aunt. Ha, true. But still, her favorite. Hey, random question, but summer camp registration is coming up. There's this amazing program at the community center, but it's $800, and with Tom's hours being cut, we're not sure we can swing it. I hate to even ask, but would you be able to help with that? We'd pay you back when things are better. There it was. The exact request she'd discussed in the group chat. The one she'd planned out, complete with using Maya as the emotional setup. The Tom's hours being cut was new, though. I wondered if that was true or just another lie. Let me think about it, I responded. Not yes, not no, just uncertainty. Saturday afternoon, the group chat exploded. 2:43 p.m., Nicole. I asked Alex about the camp. She said she'd think about it. She's never said that before. She always just sends it immediately. Derek. Okay, something is definitely wrong. Mom. Do you think she's having money problems? Dad. She just got promoted. She's probably making close to $200K now. It's not money, Uncle Ray. Then what is it? Nicole. What if she did see that message Derek sent? What if she's been playing us this whole time? Derek. No way. Alex isn't smart enough to play us. She's too straightforward. Mom. Don't underestimate her. She's a software engineer. She's very analytical. If she figured it out, she'd be collecting evidence. Dad. Evidence of what? We're her family asking for help. That's not illegal. Mom. It's not illegal, but it's not exactly ethical either. We've been manipulating her, lying about needing money, spending it on things we didn't tell her about, Nicole. So what do? Mom, we wait. And we're very, very careful about what we say and do next. I screenshot everything. This was gold. They were admitting to manipulation, admitting to lying, admitting they knew what they were doing was wrong. This was exactly what I needed. Saturday evening, I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait anymore. I wasn't going to keep collecting evidence passively. I was going to force their hand. I opened my banking app and pulled up Derek's most recent Venmo request from Tuesday night. The one where he'd said he needed $200 for rent to avoid eviction. I screenshot the request, including the timestamp and his message. Then I Googled eviction process Washington State and screenshot the legal timeline. In Washington, landlords have to give tenants a 14-day notice before filing for eviction. Derek had said his eviction was happening within days. That was legally impossible. He'd lied. Then I did something risky. I called Derek's landlord. I'd sent money directly to the landlord once before, a year ago, when Derek had given me his landlord's Venmo so I could pay directly and he'd know it came through. I'd saved the landlord's contact information. His name was Mr. Peterson. Hello? Hi, is this Mr. Peterson? You're Derek Chen's landlord, right? Yes, who's this? This is his sister Alex. I'm calling because Derek told me he's being evicted and needs to pay rent immediately or he's out. I wanted to verify that before I send money. Evicted? Derek's not being evicted. His rent is current. He paid on the first of the month like always. He's not behind. Not a single day. In fact, he's been pretty reliable the past year. Why would he tell you he's being evicted? I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood. Thank you for clarifying. No problem. Tell Derek I said hi. I hung up and sat there on my couch, my hands shaking again. Derek had been paid in full. I'd sent him $1,500 on Tuesday night for rent to avoid eviction, and he'd already paid his rent. He'd lied completely. He'd manufactured an entire emergency, and he'd spent my $1,500 on concert tickets and furniture and dinners, exactly like he'd admitted in the group chat. I screenshot my call log with Mr. Peterson, including the date and time and duration. Then I added a new sheet to my spreadsheet. Verified lies. Derek's rent lie was the first entry. But I was going to verify everything I could. Sunday morning, I did more research. I called my parents' mortgage company, pretending to be my mother calling to verify the account balance. The automated system let me check the status without talking to a person. The mortgage was current. In fact, it had been current for the past 2 years. They hadn't missed a single payment. But I'd sent them money for mortgage payments at least 8 times in the past 2 years, totaling $24,000. Where had that money gone? I checked my mom's Facebook, scrolled back through 2 years of posts, found photos from their Mexico vacation, photos of their new refrigerator, photos of Dad's fully restored vintage truck that he'd supposedly needed my help to repair. That truck was his hobby. He loved working on it, and I'd funded the restoration, thinking it was emergency repairs. I screenshot everything. Every lie, every misdirection, every manipulation. By Sunday afternoon, I had verification of at least a dozen outright lies, things they'd claimed to need money for that either hadn't happened or they'd already paid for themselves. The mortgage payments they didn't need, the evictions that weren't happening, the emergencies that weren't emergencies, Nicole's student loans that she'd already paid off through her employer's repayment program, but still asked me for money for, Uncle Ray's business expenses for a business he'd closed a year ago. I had proof, undeniable. Documented, verified proof that they'd been lying to me systematically for years. Sunday evening, I made my move. I texted Mom, Dad, Derek, Nicole, and Uncle Ray in a new group chat. The message was simple. Family meeting. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Mom and Dad's house. Everyone needs to be there. It's important. The responses came quickly. Mom, is everything okay, honey? We'll talk tomorrow. Dad, this sounds serious. Can you give us a hint what it's about? Tomorrow, Derek. Can't tomorrow. I have plans. Cancel them. This is non-negotiable. Nicole, is someone sick? You're scaring me. No one's sick. Just be there. Uncle Ray, what's this about, kiddo? You'll find out tomorrow. 7 p.m. Don't be late. Then I checked the secret family group chat, the one they still didn't know I could see, the one that was about to be my smoking gun. 6:47 p.m. Mom, what is happening? Alex is calling a family meeting? Derek, this is bad. This is really bad. Nicole, do you think she knows? Dad, even if she knows, what can she do? We're her family. Uncle Ray, she can cut us off. That's what she can do. Mom, she won't. She's too soft. She'll be upset, we'll apologize, and things will go back to normal. Derek, I don't know. She's been different all week. Cold, distant. I've never seen her like this. Nicole, what if she recorded our phone calls? What if she has proof? Dad, proof of what? Family members helping each other? There's nothing illegal about what we've done. Mom, it's not illegal, but it's not good. If she confronts us with everything, if she has records, we're going to look really bad. Uncle Ray, so what's the plan? Dad, we apologize. We admit we maybe took advantage. We say we're sorry and we'll do better. She'll forgive us. She always does. Mom, and if she doesn't? Long pause. No one responded to that. Because they couldn't imagine a world where I actually stood up to them, where I actually said no, where I actually protected myself instead of them. They were about to find out that world was here. Monday morning, I called in sick to work. I needed the day to prepare. I printed out everything. The spreadsheets, the screenshots, the call logs, the timeline. Everything. I organized it all into a binder. I made copies. One for me, one to leave with them. I practiced what I was going to say, how I was going to present the evidence, how I was going to stay calm even though I was furious. I called my best friend Sarah, the one from work, and told her everything. She was the first person I'd told. She listened for 2 hours while I walked her through everything. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Alex, I'm so sorry. That's financial abuse. That's what this is. Financial abuse and exploitation. You know that, right? I'm starting to realize that. What are you going to do? I'm going to confront them. Tonight. All of them. I'm going to show them the evidence and I'm going to tell them I'm done. Do you want me to come with you? For moral support? No. I need to do this alone. But thank you. Call me after. I want to make sure you're okay. I will. I promise. Monday afternoon, I went to my parents' house early, let myself in with my key, set up my laptop on the dining room table, connected it to their TV so I could display the spreadsheets for everyone to see, set out the printed binders, one for each person. Mom and Dad arrived home at 5:30, saw me sitting at their dining table with my setup. Alex, honey, you're early, Mom said. What's all this? We'll talk about it when everyone gets here. Can you give us a hint? You're making us nervous. You should be nervous. Dad frowned. What's that supposed to mean? You'll find out at 7. They exchanged a look. That married couple communication where they have a whole conversation without words. Then they went to the kitchen, and I heard them whispering, but couldn't make out the words. At 6:45, Derek arrived, then Nicole, then Uncle Ray at exactly 7 p.m. We all sat around the dining table, the same table where we'd had countless family dinners, where we'd celebrated holidays, where I'd announced my college graduation, my first job, my promotion, the same table where I'd thought I was part of a loving family. Okay, we're all here. Dad said. "What's this about, Alex?" I opened my laptop, pulled up the spreadsheet on the TV screen, the one showing $178,000. They all stared at it. "This," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "is every dollar I've sent to this family over the past 6 years." Silence. $178,000, broken down by person, by date, by stated reason for the request. Derek was pale. Nicole was staring at the screen. Mom and Dad looked at each other. Uncle Ray cleared his throat. "Alex, honey," Mom started. "We know we've asked you for help over the years, but we didn't realize it was that much." "Really? You didn't realize? Let me show you something else." I pulled up the group chat screenshots. Started with the most recent ones. The ones where they were strategizing about how to manipulate me, where they were calling me an ATM, where they were laughing about how easy I was to trick. I displayed them on the TV, one after another. The room was completely silent except for the sound of my clicking through screenshots. "Alex," Derek said, his voice shaking, "where did you get those?" "You added me back to the group chat by accident Tuesday night. Remember? When you accidentally sent me the message calling me the easiest ATM withdrawal ever?" His face went white. "I deleted that in 30 seconds. I screenshot it in 20. I pulled up that particular message, displayed it on the TV. Can't believe Alex fell for it again. Easiest ATM withdrawal ever. Let them look at it. Let them sit with it." "You want to explain that, Derek?" "Alex, I'm sorry. We were just joking around. We didn't mean it." "Didn't mean it? Let me show you more." I pulled up the messages where they coordinated requests, where they discussed what lies to tell me, where they analyzed my psychology to figure out how to manipulate me more effectively, where they coached each other on emotional manipulation tactics, where they laughed about using my niece to guilt-trip me. I displayed every single damning message. Let them see exactly what I'd seen. Let them realize I had proof of everything. Mom was crying. Dad was staring at the table. Derek looked like he might throw up. Nicole was shaking. Uncle Ray was the only one who looked more angry than ashamed. "This is taken out of context," Dad said finally. "Is it? What context makes this okay? We're family. Family helps each other. Sometimes we talk about things in ways that sound worse than they are." "Really? Let me show you something else." I pulled up my verification research. The call log with Derek's landlord. "Derek, you told me Tuesday that you needed $200 or you'd be evicted. I sent you $1,500. But I called your landlord Saturday. Your rent is current. You're not being evicted. You've never been behind. So where did my $1,500 go?" Derek couldn't look at me. Derek spent it on concert tickets and furniture. I answered my own question. He admitted it in the group chat. Said the money was gone already. I pulled up my parents' mortgage verification. "Mom, Dad, you've asked me for mortgage money 8 times in 2 years. Said you couldn't make the payments. But your mortgage is current. Has been for years. So where did that $24,000 go?" They didn't answer. I have verification for a dozen lies. Evictions that weren't happening. Emergencies that weren't emergencies. Bills that were already paid. I have 6 years of evidence of systematic financial manipulation. "Alex," Nicole said, her voice shaking. "I'm sorry. We're all sorry. We took advantage. We shouldn't have. But we're family. You're not going to throw away your family over this, are you?" "Throw away my family?" "Nicole, you threw me away the moment you started seeing me as a resource instead of a sister." I pulled out the binders, handed one to each of them. "These are for you. Complete records of everything. Every dollar, every lie, every manipulation. I've backed it all up to multiple locations. Consider it a gift." Uncle Ray opened his binder, flipped through it. "What are you planning to do with this?" "That depends on you," I said. "On us?" Mom asked. "Here's what's going to happen. As of today, I'm done sending money to any of you, for any reason. The ATM is permanently closed. Alex, you can't just cut us off, Dad said. I can, actually. And I am. What if there's a real emergency? Nicole asked. Then you'll figure it out like adults. Get a second job, cut expenses, ask someone else. But not me. Never me again. You're being cruel, Uncle Ray said. Am I? Was it cruel when you lied to me about needing business expenses and spent the money on a fishing boat? Was it cruel when you all laughed about manipulating me behind my back? That's different, he said. How? He didn't have an answer. I gave you all 6 years, I said. 6 years of helping whenever you asked. 6 years of never saying no. 6 years of believing you genuinely needed help. And you repaid me by lying, manipulating, and laughing at me behind my back. So no, I'm not being cruel. I'm being smart. Finally. Alex, please. Mom was crying harder now. We made mistakes. We're sorry. But we love you. We're your family. Do you? Do you love me? Or do you love what I provide? How can you ask that? Because in 6 years of sending you money, you've never once asked me how I'm doing. Never once offered to help me with anything. Never once showed up for me the way I've shown up for you. You only call when you need something. You only check in when you're planning your next request. So tell me, Mom, do you actually love me? Or do you love having an ATM you can cry to when you want money? She couldn't answer. None of them could. I'm going to leave now, I said, standing up. You can keep the binders. Read them. Really look at what you've done. Maybe think about why you felt entitled to treat me this way. Wait, Derek said, standing up. What if we pay you back? What if we make this right? How? I asked. You owe me $178,000. Among all of you. When can you have that? Tomorrow? Next month? Next year? Silence. That's what I thought. You can't pay me back because you never intended to. This was always one-sided. I gave and you took, and that was the entire relationship. It wasn't just about money, Nicole said. Wasn't it, though? Name one conversation we've had in the past year that didn't end with you asking for something. One family gathering where you didn't pull me aside to mention you were struggling. One birthday call that wasn't followed up with a request for money. She couldn't. That's what I thought. I picked up my laptop, packed my bag. Alex, you can't leave like this, Dad said, his voice hard now, angry. We're your family. You owe us. I owe you? I laughed, harsh and bitter. I've given you $178,000 and you think I owe you more? We raised you. We gave you everything. This is how you repay us? You want to talk about repayment? Fine. Let's do the math. 18 years of raising me. 3 square meals a day. Let's say $10 per day. That's $65,700. Housing, utilities, clothes. Let's be generous and say $20,000 per year. That's $360,000. Education, medical, miscellaneous. Let's add another $100,000. Round it up to $500,000. I've given you $67,200 over 6 years. Derek's gotten $47,300. Nicole's gotten $38,900. Uncle Ray, who didn't raise me at all, has gotten $24,600. That's $178,000 total. I'm not saying you owe me the difference. I'm saying we're done keeping score. The debt, if there ever was one, is paid. How dare you, Mom said. How dare you put a price on family? You put a price on me, I said quietly. Every time you called me an ATM. Every time you calculated how much you could get out of me. Every time you laughed about manipulating me. You put a price on our relationship. I'm just showing you the receipt. I walked to the door. Alex, if you walk out that door, don't come back, Dad said. It was a threat. An ultimatum. Choose us or choose yourself. Okay, I said simply. Wait, what? He clearly expected me to cave. Okay, I won't come back. I'm choosing myself. For the first time in 6 years, I'm choosing myself. You're going to regret this, Uncle Ray said. Maybe, but I doubt it. I walked out. Got in my car, drove home, and I didn't cry. I didn't feel sad. I felt light, like I'd been carrying a massive weight and had finally set it down. When I got home, I called Sarah like I'd promised, told her everything that happened. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Free," I said. "I feel free." The next few weeks were intense. They all tried in different ways to get me to change my mind. Derek showed up at my apartment. I didn't let him in. Mom called from different numbers when I blocked her. I blocked them all. Nicole sent me photos of Maya with captions like "Maya misses Aunt Alex" and "Your niece needs you." I didn't respond. Dad sent me a long email about family loyalty and how I was making the biggest mistake of my life. I archived it without replying. Uncle Ray tried to connect with me on LinkedIn, presumably to ask for money through a professional channel. I declined the connection. They tried guilt. They tried anger. They tried manipulation. Every tactic that had worked for 6 years. But none of it worked anymore. Because I'd seen behind the curtain, I knew what they really thought of me, and I wasn't going to let them use me ever again. 3 weeks after the confrontation, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. "Alex, this is Tom, Nicole's husband. Can we talk?" I called him. "Tom, what's going on? I need to apologize to you. I had no idea Nicole's been asking you for money all these years. She told me we were making ends meet on our own. I just found out last week that you've been paying for Maya's daycare, covering medical bills, helping with our car payment. I'm completely mortified. You really didn't know. I swear on my life. I thought we were tight on money because of student loans and regular expenses. I didn't know Nicole was getting thousands from you and not telling me. When I found out, we had a massive fight. I demanded to see her financial records, and she finally admitted everything. The loans you paid that were already paid through her employer, the daycare you covered when we could actually afford it. All of it. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. I'm sorry you dealt with it for 6 years. What she did to you, what they all did to you. It's financial abuse. That's what my therapist called it when I told him. And I'm leaving her." "What?" "I can't stay with someone who lies like this, who manipulates family like this, who uses our daughter as a tool to guilt-trip people. That's not the person I thought I married. So I'm filing for divorce. And I wanted you to know that I'm going to make sure Maya knows the truth when she's old enough, that her Aunt Alex loved her and helped her, and that her mother took advantage of that love." I was quiet for a moment. "Thank you for telling me. And Tom, I'm sorry about your marriage. Don't be. You didn't destroy it. Nicole did. You just stopped enabling it. And honestly, you probably saved me years of living with someone who sees relationships as transactions." We talked for another hour. He told me about discovering she'd been lying about their finances in other ways too. Money he thought was going to savings was being spent on things she didn't tell him about. She'd opened credit cards in both their names without telling him. The lies about money went far beyond just manipulating me. When we hung up, I added notes to my records. Tom had confirmed Nicole's employer had a student loan repayment program that had paid off her loans 2 years ago, which meant every dollar I'd sent for student loans in the past 2 years, $8,400, had been a complete lie. She'd been pocketing it. They separated within 2 weeks. Tom filed for divorce a month later, citing financial dishonesty as one of the reasons. Nicole tried to blame me for her marriage falling apart. She posted on Facebook about how I'd destroyed her family by refusing to help them anymore. Tom responded to her post publicly. "Alex didn't destroy our family. You did, by lying about finances for years and manipulating your sister out of tens of thousands of dollars. I saw the records. I saw the group chat messages. Don't blame Alex for the consequences you created." The post got shared in our extended family network, and something shifted. Suddenly, relatives I'd barely spoken to were reaching out to me. My cousin Sarah. "I had no idea this was happening. Your parents always talked about how generous you were, like it was your choice to help so much. We didn't know they were manipulating you. I'm so sorry." My Aunt Linda. "I'm ashamed I didn't see this. Your mother's my sister and I love her. But what she did to you was wrong. What they all did. You were right to protect yourself." My grandmother, my mom's mother, who was 82, and who I'd always been close with. "Your mother called me crying about how you cut off the family. But then I talked to Tom and Sarah and heard the real story. I called your mother back and told her she should be ashamed. You didn't cut off the family. They cut you down for years until you had no choice but to leave. I'm proud of you for protecting yourself, sweetheart." These messages mattered more than I'd expected. They validated that I wasn't crazy or cruel. They proved that what I'd experienced was real and wrong. They showed me that not everyone in my family was okay with what had happened. I screenshot every supportive message and saved them in a folder called Validation. Because I knew there'd be days when I doubted myself, when I wondered if I'd been too harsh, when the guilt tried to creep back in. On those days, I'd look at this folder and remember that I'd done the right thing. 6 weeks after the confrontation, my parents made one last attempt. They showed up at my workplace, talked their way past building security by saying they were my parents and it was an emergency, waited in the lobby until I came down. "Alex, please," Mom said when she saw me. "We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. 5 minutes. Just give us 5 minutes." I looked around. My coworkers were watching. This was embarrassing and they knew it. "Fine, outside." We went to the plaza outside my office building. "We're sorry," Dad said. "We've had time to think about everything and we were wrong. We took advantage. We manipulated you. We treated you badly, and we're sorry." "Okay. Okay? That's it? What else do you want me to say?" "That you forgive us," Mom said. "That we can move past this. That we can be a family again." "I don't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. And I definitely don't want to be a family again." "Alex, please," Dad said. "We've lost everything because of this. Derek lost his apartment because you stopped helping with rent. We had to sell our house because we couldn't make the mortgage without your help. Nicole's getting divorced. The whole family has fallen apart." "No," I said firmly. "The family fell apart because you built it on a foundation of lies and manipulation and financial exploitation. I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped holding it together." "We need you," Mom cried. "We can't make it without your help." "Then you should have thought about that before you called me to an ATM, before you laughed about manipulating me, before you spent 6 years lying to me. We made mistakes. You made choices, deliberate, calculated choices to use me, and now you're living with the consequences of those choices." "So that's it?" Dad said, his voice hard again. "You're just done with us? I'm done being used by you. If you ever want an actual relationship with me, one based on honesty and respect instead of money, my door might be open someday. But that day isn't today, and it won't be anytime soon. You're going to regret this," Dad said. "When you're alone and you realize what you threw away, you're going to regret it. Maybe. But I'll be alone with $178,000 that I should have in my bank account. I'll be alone with my self-respect. I'll be alone with the knowledge that I'm not a doormat anymore. And that sounds better than being surrounded by people who see me as nothing but a wallet." I walked back into my office building. They didn't follow. That was the last time I saw them in person. 3 months after cutting them off, something unexpected happened. I got a message on Instagram from a woman I didn't know. Her name was Jennifer and she was 28. "Hi, Alex," she wrote. "I hope this doesn't seem weird, but I heard about what happened with your family through a mutual friend. I'm Derek's ex-girlfriend from 3 years ago. We dated for about a year before I ended it. I wanted to reach out because everything you described happened to me too. When Derek and I were dating, your mom called me multiple times asking for money. Said Derek needed help with rent and she knew he'd be too proud to ask. Your dad called me once saying there was a family emergency and they needed $2,000 immediately. Derek would tell me sob stories about needing money for various things, and I'd send it because I loved him and wanted to help. It took me almost a year to realize he was lying about most of it, that he was spending the money on other things, that your whole family had this system of manipulating anyone who showed them kindness. When I finally figured it out and confronted Derek, he said I was being crazy and paranoid. I broke up with him and spent the next 2 years feeling like maybe I was the problem. Like maybe I was too untrusting, too judgmental. But then I heard your story through a friend of a friend, and I realized I wasn't wrong. They really were using me. They really did have a system. It wasn't in my head. So I wanted to say thank you for sharing what happened to you. It helped me realize I wasn't crazy. It helped me heal from something I thought was my fault. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I wrote back, "Jennifer, I'm so sorry they did that to you too. How much money did they get from you?" "About $8,000 over the year we dated. I know it's not as much as what they got from you, but it was a lot for me. I was working retail at the time, barely making $30,000 a year. That $8,000 was my savings, money I'd been setting aside for years. Jennifer, you don't have to minimize what happened to you. They exploited you just like they exploited me, and I'm so sorry. You deserved better." We messaged back and forth for over an hour. She told me about how Derek had love-bombed her in the beginning, how he'd made her feel special and important, how he'd slowly started asking for small favors that turned into money requests, how his family had been warm and welcoming to her, making her feel like she was part of the family, right up until they started asking for money too. She told me about 2 other women Derek had dated who'd had similar experiences, a pattern of financial manipulation that extended beyond just family. He'd been doing this to girlfriends too. I asked if she'd be willing to share her story more widely. She said yes. 2 weeks later, I wrote a post on Medium. I titled it, "The Family ATM, How I Spent 6 Years and $178,000 Before I Realized I Was Being Used." I detailed everything. The group chat that exposed it all. The spreadsheet showing every dollar. The lies I'd verified. The confrontation. The aftermath. I didn't use real names, but anyone who knew me would know who I was talking about. I included screenshots of the group chat with names redacted. I included graphs showing the money over time. I included Jennifer's story, with her permission, showing this wasn't an isolated incident but a pattern. I ended with this. If you're reading this and it sounds familiar, if you have family or friends who only reach out when they need something, if you've started to wonder if you're being used but you feel guilty for thinking that because they're family, I want you to know something. It's not selfish to protect yourself. It's not cruel to set boundaries. It's not wrong to expect reciprocity in relationships. You're not an ATM. You're a person who deserves to be valued for who you are, not what you can provide. And if the people in your life can't understand that, if they react to boundaries with anger and manipulation, that tells you everything you need to know about how they really see you. The post went viral. Within a week, it had 50,000 views, then 100,000, then 500,000. The comments were overwhelming. Thousands of people sharing their own stories of being the family ATM, of being used by parents, siblings, extended family, of finally setting boundaries and being called cruel or selfish or heartless, of feeling guilty for protecting themselves. People thanked me for putting into words what they'd felt but couldn't express, for validating their experiences, for showing them they weren't alone. News outlets picked it up. I did 3 podcast interviews. A financial advice columnist wrote about it, calling what my family did financial elder abuse in reverse. Therapists wrote a response post breaking down the manipulation, tactics my family had used in helping people identify if they were experiencing something similar. The post became a touchstone. People shared it in family dynamics support groups, in personal finance communities, in therapy forums. It helped people. And knowing that my pain, my experience, my story was helping others heal from similar situations made everything feel worthwhile. 6 months after cutting off my family, I was thriving. I'd paid off my car. I'd maxed out my 401k contribution. I'd started saving for a house down payment. I'd traveled to Japan, something I'd always wanted to do but never felt I could afford. I'd joined a hiking group and made new friends. I'd started dating someone I met through work, a kind, genuine person who liked me for me and never once asked me for money. For the first time in 6 years, my financial decisions were mine alone, and it felt incredible. I heard through my cousin Sarah that my parents had downsized to a small condo, that Derek was working 2 jobs and had moved in with a roommate, that Nicole was living with our parents while she figured out her post-divorce finances, that Uncle Ray had moved to a different state. They'd all survived. None of them were homeless or destitute or destroyed. They just had to learn to live within their means. They had to learn to handle their own problems. They had to learn that actions have consequences. 1 year after cutting them off, I received a letter in the mail. Handwritten, from my mother. I almost threw it away without opening it, but curiosity won. The letter was 8 pages, front and back, in my mother's careful handwriting. I'm not going to transcribe the whole thing, but here are the important parts. Alex, I've been in therapy for the past 7 months. Individual therapy once a week. And your father and I have been doing couples therapy too. My therapist has helped me see things I didn't want to see. How we treated you, how we used you, how we damaged our relationship, maybe permanently, by prioritizing money over love. I'm writing to tell you that you were right about everything. We used you. We manipulated you. We treated you like an ATM instead of a daughter and sister. We coordinated our requests to maximize what we could get from you. We laughed about how easy you were to manipulate. We removed you from the group chat so we could talk about you without consequences. We lied about needing money for emergencies when really we wanted money for things we couldn't afford. We took advantage of your kindness, your generosity, your love for family. And we never, not once in 6 years, genuinely appreciated what you were doing for us. We took it for granted. Took you for granted. I'm not writing to ask for money. I'm not writing to ask for forgiveness. I'm writing to tell you that I understand now. I understand why you cut us off. I understand why you don't trust us. I understand why you might never want a relationship with us again. And I accept that. My therapist says I need to accept that some consequences are permanent, that some damage can't be undone, that some relationships, once broken in this way, can't be repaired. She says I need to grieve the relationship I could have had with my daughter if I'd treated you with respect from the beginning, if I'd valued you for who you are instead of what you could provide. So I'm grieving. I'm grieving the daughter I lost because I treated her like a bank. I'm grieving the relationship we'll never have. I'm grieving the person I should have been and wasn't. Your father is in a different place. He's still angry, still believes you overreacted, still thinks you should have forgiven us by now. We fight about it constantly. Our marriage is struggling, but that's not your problem. You didn't cause this. We caused this. I just wanted you to know that someone in this family finally understands. Someone finally sees what we did to you. Someone is finally sorry. Really, truly sorry. Not sorry we got caught. Not sorry you cut us off. Sorry for hurting you. Sorry for using you. Sorry for wasting 6 years of your life and $178,000 of your money on people who didn't deserve it. I hope you're happy, Alex. I hope you've built the life you deserve. I hope you found people who value you the way we should have. I hope you know that what we did wasn't your fault. You weren't too trusting or too naive or too generous. You were kind, and we weaponized your kindness. That's on us, not you. I love you. I know I don't have the right to say that anymore. I know I've shown you the opposite of love for 6 years, but I do love you, and I'm sorry I didn't show it when it mattered. Mom? I read the letter 3 times. I cried the first time, angry tears. I cried the second time. Sad tears for what could have been. The third time I didn't cry. I just felt empty, not in a bad way. Just empty of the hope I'd been carrying without realizing it. The hope that somehow they'd see what they'd done, that they'd understand, that they'd be sorry. And now they were. Or at least my mother was, and it didn't change anything. I didn't respond to the letter. I filed it in my evidence folder in a section labeled Aftermath and moved on with my life. 2 years after cutting them off, I bought a house, a small, beautiful Craftsman in the Maple Leaf neighborhood. 3 bedrooms, a yard with a garden, hardwood floors, big windows. It cost $650,000, and I put down $130,000. Money I'd saved in 2 years of not supporting my family. Money I'd have never had if I'd kept being their ATM. I had a housewarming party. I invited my hiking friends, my coworkers, Sarah and her wife, Jennifer, the woman who'd dated Derek, my grandmother who'd supported me through everything, my cousin Sarah and her family, my new partner Ethan, who I'd been dating for a year. 40 people in my house, celebrating with me, bringing gifts, offering to help with yard work, giving advice about home ownership, people who cared about me. Not one person from my immediate family was there. And it was perfect. I posted a photo on Instagram, me on my front porch holding my house keys, smiling genuinely. The caption, 2 years ago, I made the hardest decision of my life. Today I'm standing on the porch of a house I bought with money I earned and saved. Not $1 of down payment came from enabling people who didn't respect me. This is what choosing yourself looks like. This is what happens when you stop being someone's ATM and start investing in yourself. The post got 2,000 likes, hundreds of comments from people who'd read my Medium post, who'd been following my journey, who'd set their own boundaries with family because of my story. One comment stood out. It was from Nicole. I'm happy for you, Alex. I really am. I know I don't deserve to say that. I know I don't deserve to be in your life. But I wanted you to know that I'm in therapy too. I'm working on myself. Tom and I are trying to co-parent better. I'm being honest with him about finances now. I'm teaching Maya that people aren't resources to be used. I'm trying to be better. I hope one day you can forgive me, but I understand if you can't. What I did to you was unforgivable. I'm sorry, I didn't respond. But I didn't delete the comment either. 3 years after cutting them off, Derek reached out. He'd gotten my new address somehow, probably from my grandmother, who I still talk to regularly. He showed up at my house on a Saturday morning, knocked on the door. I saw him through the window. He looked different. Thinner, older, more tired, but also somehow more present, more real. I opened the door but stayed in the doorway. Derek, what are you doing here? I wanted to see you, to talk, if you'll let me. We don't have anything to talk about. I know you think that, but I'm asking for 5 minutes. Please. I've driven 3 hours to get here. Just give me 5 minutes, and if you want me to leave after that, I'll leave and never contact you again." Against my better judgment, I let him in. We sat in my living room. The house I'd bought, the life I'd built without him. "Nice place," he said, looking around. "Thanks. You did really well for yourself." "I did okay. Alex, I wanted to apologize. For real this time. Not because I want anything. Not because I need money. Just because I owe you that. I've been in therapy for 18 months, working through a lot of stuff. Addiction issues I didn't want to admit I had. Entitlement issues. A fundamental lack of respect for other people's boundaries. And one of the things my therapist keeps coming back to is how I treated you. How we all treated you. How I used you for 6 years and never once felt guilty about it until you cut me off. Okay. She made me do this exercise. She made me calculate every dollar you sent me, every request I made, every lie I told. And then she made me think about what I'd have to do to pay it back. At my current salary, working 2 jobs, if I saved every extra dollar, it would take me 4 years to pay you back the $4,300 I took from you. 4 years of living on nothing but essentials. No going out, no vacations, no luxuries. 4 years of sacrifice. And sitting with that number, really sitting with it, I realized what I'd done to you. I'd taken 4 years of your financial life. 4 years of savings and security and freedom. And I'd spent it on concert tickets and furniture and dinners and things I don't even remember. I threw away your future for my present. And I didn't care because it wasn't my money. It wasn't my sacrifice. It was yours. He was crying now. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking for a relationship. I'm just telling you that I finally understand what I did to you. How much I hurt you. How much I took from you. And I'm sorry. I'm genuinely, deeply, completely sorry. I sat there for a moment, watching him cry. Part of me wanted to comfort him. Old habits die hard, but I didn't. Derek, I appreciate the apology. I believe you mean it, but it doesn't change anything between us. I know. I don't trust you. I don't think I ever will again. I know. I wouldn't trust me either. I hope therapy helps you. I hope you become a better person, but I hope that from a distance. I don't want you in my life. Can I ask why? Even if I've changed, even if I've learned, even if I'm different now. Because, I said carefully, even if you've changed, even if you're genuinely sorry, the relationship we had was fundamentally broken. It was built on you using me and me letting you, and I don't want to rebuild from that foundation. I don't want to wonder every time you call if you're going to ask for something. I don't want to analyze every interaction for signs you're manipulating me again. I don't want to spend energy protecting myself from you. I'm happier without that weight. I'm happier without you. He nodded slowly. I understand. Thank you for being honest. For what it's worth, I said as he stood to leave. You cutting me off was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, you didn't cut me off. I cut you off. But your mistake, that text message that exposed everything, that was the catalyst. It forced me to see what I'd been refusing to acknowledge. It gave me permission to protect myself. It freed me. So in a weird way, thank you. That's a very generous way to look at it. I'm not being generous. I'm being honest. You accidentally gave me the truth. And the truth, even though it hurt, set me free. He left. I never saw him again. 5 years after cutting off my family, I got engaged. Ethan proposed on a hiking trip at the top of Rattlesnake Ledge, with Mount Rainier in the background. It was perfect. Simple, genuine, just us. We planned a small wedding. 50 people, close friends, chosen family, my grandmother, who was 87 now, my cousin Sarah and her family, Ethan's family, who'd welcomed me with open arms. People who genuinely cared about us. I sent an invitation to my mother, not because I wanted her there, but because I wanted to be able to say I'd tried, that I'd extended an olive branch, that the door wasn't completely closed. She responded with a letter. Alex, thank you for the invitation. It means more than you know that you thought of me, but I don't think I should come. Not because I don't want to. I desperately want to see you get married. I desperately want to be part of your life again. But I don't think I've earned that right yet. Maybe I never will. Coming to your wedding would be about what I want, not what you need. And I'm trying to be less selfish. I'm trying to think about you instead of me, so I'm going to decline the invitation. But please know that I'll be thinking of you that day. I'll be happy for you. I'll be proud of you. And I'll be grieving that I'm not there because of my own actions. Congratulations, Alex. I hope your marriage is everything you deserve. I hope Ethan treats you the way I should have. I hope you build a family, biological or chosen, that values you the way we didn't. Love, Mom. I cried when I read that letter. Not sad tears, grief tears. Grieving the mother I'd always wanted but never really had. Grieving the relationship we could have had if she'd been different from the start. But underneath the grief was something else. Peace. Acceptance that some things can't be fixed. That some relationships end. That some damage is permanent. And that's okay. The wedding was beautiful. Intimate, joyful, full of people who loved us. I didn't miss my family, or maybe I did, but I missed the family I'd wanted them to be. Not the family they actually were. And that family, the one I'd wanted, had never existed. So I wasn't really missing anything real. I was just letting go of a fantasy. Today, 7 years after that text message exposed everything, I'm happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. I have a career I love, a house I own, a husband who values me, a daughter who's 2 years old named Sophie, who will never question whether she's too much or too loud or too anything, a found family of people who showed up for me when it mattered, financial security, retirement savings, freedom. And every sunset, every dinner party, every ordinary moment is proof that I made the right choice. That choosing myself wasn't selfish. That protecting myself wasn't cruel. That saying no to people who used me wasn't abandoning family. It was saving myself. The family that called me their ATM lost access to that ATM permanently, and the life I built without them, funded by money I earned and kept for myself, is better than anything I had when I was being used. That's the real ending. Not dramatic revenge, not bitter satisfaction. Just freedom, just peace. Just me, finally whole, finally safe, finally valued. And that's worth more than $178,000. That's worth everything.